Hey everybody, it's Mr. Allred, and we've been solving quadratic equations. We looked at factoring, we looked at the quadratic formula, and I want to give you one more method. You don't need this method. The other two will do everything you need, but it's quite convenient at the right time. It is called the square root principle. And it works a little bit different than the others because it requires you to be able to get something squared on one side equal to hopefully a number. Now it doesn't have to be necessarily just a single variable, a single number, but it works best that way. So if x squared equals d, which is a number, then the principle says basically we can take the square root of both sides and have x equals the positive and negative square root of d, and that positive and negative comes from the fact that if you squared it, it wouldn't matter if it had been positive or negative. That negative is not under the root though. See in action down here, x squared equals 16. So carrying that out, that would just follow this exactly. It would be x equals positive and negative square root of 16. Well, the positive square root of 16 is 4, so you get x equals 4. The negative square root of 16 is negative 4, so x equals negative 4. Okay, so let's do a couple of examples here. Here we have 16x squared equals 25. Now the key to this is to get this squared part by itself. So to start off, if we want to do that, we can divide both sides by 16 and we'll have x squared equals 25 over 16. And then we can apply this principle by saying that x would be the positive and negative square root of 25 over 16. And that has a nice root even though it's a fraction because the square root of 25 is 5, the square root of 16 is 4. So that would give us positive and negative 5/4, and you could write it as one combined answer, plus or minus 5/4, or you could write it as x equals 5/4 and x equals negative 5/4. Either way would work. Okay? But it all hinges on getting that square part by itself first. Second example, 9x squared plus 36 equals 0. So we see this and we just see two terms, so let's see if we can make this work here. So once again, we're trying to get that square part by itself, so let's see. We can move the 36 over and we'll have 9x squared equals negative 36. We can divide by the 9 and we'll have x squared equals negative 4. That's not ideal because it's not going to be a real number, but if we apply the principle, it'll be x equals the positive and negative square root of negative 4. Well, we can pull that negative out as an I, and in the end we have the positive and negative 2i, which once again you could leave it as this. Most people would if it's a complex or imaginary number. The solution being positive 2i and negative 2i. Okay, so it's a very quick and simple process usually if you can use it, but it doesn't show up in every problem, and it definitely doesn't work if you have the ax squared plus bx plus c, unless you go through a lot more work that we're not going to. Okay, thank you.